Imagine September 1939. German panzers roar across borders, Stuka bombers scream overhead. Europe is stunned by a new, brutal kind of warfare, fast, relentless, and seemingly unstoppable. Poland collapses in weeks. Denmark, Norway, the Low Countries, and even mighty France fall in rapid succession. The swastika flies over Paris and Warsaw. How did this happen? How did a defeated Germany rise to dominate Europe so quickly? The world watched, breathless and bewildered. Was it luck, or something more calculated? The answer: a potent mix of revolutionary tactics, rigorous training, advanced technology, and a nation driven by dangerous ideology. The old ways of war were swept aside. A new era had begun, one that would change history forever. To understand these shocking events, we must look deeper. Germany's victories were not just about brute force, they were the result of careful planning and innovation. New tactics shattered old assumptions. Soldiers were forged into a disciplined, effective force. Technology gave them a deadly edge. And behind it all, a dark ideology pushed the nation forward. This is the story of how Germany's war machine became a warning from history. Let's uncover the forces that shaped the early years of World War II. The lessons are as relevant now as they were then. The world would never be the same. The unstoppable tide, it seemed, could not be turned, but history would prove otherwise. Germany's early victories were no accident. Years of planning, innovation, and relentless preparation made them possible. After World War I, Germany was restricted by the Treaty of Versailles, but in secret, and then openly, they rebuilt their military strength. They studied past failures and vowed never to repeat the static trench warfare of the Great War. Mobility, speed, and decisive action became their new doctrine. Men like General Heinz Guderian championed the use of tanks and aircraft as independent, powerful spearheads. The goal punched through enemy lines create chaos and force collapse. This thinking was revolutionary, challenging centuries of military tradition. Preparation went beyond weapons. It was a shift in mindset, a new doctrine for a new kind of war. The Wehrmacht was built for rapid, knockout victories. Every aspect of the military was designed for offense. Training, equipment, and strategy all focused on speed and aggression. The result: a military machine ready to dominate from the outset. Their early success was the product of this intense groundwork. The world was caught off guard, but Germany had been preparing for years. The stage was set for a terrifying demonstration of power. The myth of German invincibility was born from this preparation, but it was a myth with limits. The seeds of future failure were already sown. For now, though, the world watched in awe and fear. The German war machine was ready to roll, and nothing seemed able to stop it. Blitzkrieg, lightning war, became the symbol of German might. It was warfare reimagined: speed, surprise, and overwhelming force. Tanks and dive bombers struck at a single critical point, breaking through defenses and racing deep into enemy territory. The aim: paralyze the enemy, sow confusion, and destroy command structures before they could react. In Poland and France, Blitzkrieg shattered armies in weeks. The old, slow-moving tactics were swept aside. German panzers bypassed strongpoints like the Maginot Line and exploited weak spots. The Ardennes, thought impassable, became the highway for invasion. Coordination was key. Tanks, infantry, and air power worked as one. Radios in every tank allowed rapid communication and adaptation. The enemy was left isolated, outmaneuvered, and defeated. Blitzkrieg was as much psychological as physical, shock and awe on a national scale. The world watched, horrified, as nations fell in daze. Blitzkrieg's success was not just in firepower, but in its ability to disrupt and demoralize. The formula seemed unbeatable, but it relied on speed, surprise, and the enemy's unpreparedness. As the war dragged on, these advantages would fade. For now, Blitzkrieg was the cutting edge of modern warfare. It changed the rules, and the world. The legend of German invincibility grew with every victory. But legends, like tactics, can be broken. Blitzkrieg's brilliance would soon meet its limits. The world would learn and adapt. But in 1939 and 1940, it was the stuff of nightmares. The lightning war had arrived. German soldiers were renowned for their discipline and training. Their preparation was tough, realistic, and relentless. Every man was expected to master his craft and perform under pressure. A key to their success was Auftragstaktik, mission-type tactics. Commanders set objectives but left the how to junior officers. This fostered initiative, flexibility, and quick thinking on the battlefield. Even if communications broke down, junior leaders could act decisively. They understood the mission and adapted to changing situations. This was a stark contrast to the rigid command styles of many Allied armies. German soldiers were empowered to think for themselves. They were not just cogs in a machine, but active problem solvers. This adaptability was a huge advantage in fast-moving blitzkrieg operations. Soldiers could exploit fleeting opportunities and respond to chaos. The result: a formidable, respected fighting force. training and doctrine combined to create soldiers who could outthink and outfight their opponents. The German army's flexibility made it a fearsome adversary, but this strength depended on trust, initiative, and clear objectives. As the war dragged on and leadership faltered, even this advantage would be tested. For now though, the disciplined German soldier was a key to early victories. The world took notice, and would soon learn to adapt. The lessons of Auftragstaktik would echo far beyond Germany. In war, adaptability is often the difference between victory and defeat. The German army proved it, at least for a time. Technology was a force multiplier for Germany. Their tanks, Panzer III and Ivory, were reliable, fast, and built for Blitzkrieg. Radios in every tank allowed real-time coordination, a game-changer in the 1930s. The Luftwaffe's Messerschmitt fighters and Stuka dive bombers dominated the skies. The Stuka's siren became a symbol of terror and precision. Air and ground forces worked in perfect concert, overwhelming unprepared enemies. Communication was the invisible glue of Blitzkrieg. This synergy between technology and tactics was unmatched. German equipment wasn't always the best, but it was used brilliantly. The combination of speed, coordination, and firepower created a devastating effect. Early victories owed as much to innovation as to brute strength. But as the Allies caught up, this edge would narrow. For a time though, German technology seemed unstoppable. Weapons and tactics alone don't win wars. Belief does. German morale was sky-high, fueled by relentless propaganda. Goebbels' machine painted Germany as righteous and invincible. Soldiers believed they were part of a historic mission. Early victories reinforced this confidence, making them fight harder. Propaganda fostered unity and a dangerous sense of superiority. The fall of Poland and France seemed to prove Germany's destiny, but this morale was built on lies and early success. When setbacks came, cracks appeared in the facade. Doubt crept in, and confidence waned. The power of belief can drive armies to greatness, or collapse. For Germany, high morale was both a weapon and a weakness. It fueled daring, but could not withstand endless defeat. The will to conquer was strong but not unbreakable. In the end, reality shattered the illusion. The lesson morale is powerful but fragile. Early German leadership was bold and innovative. Generals like Guderian, Rommel, and Manstein mastered modern warfare. They challenged old ideas and inspired their troops. The German general staff system prized professionalism and adaptability, but at the top stood Hitler. His early gambles sometimes paid off, like the Ardennes offensive, but as his control grew, so did his mistakes. Hitler distrusted his generals and made decisions based on ideology, not strategy. Catastrophic blunders like invading the Soviet Union and refusing retreats proved disastrous. Leadership was a double-edged sword. Tactical brilliance was undermined by strategic folly. The same boldness that brought early victories led to ruin. In war, leadership matters at every level. Germany's downfall was as much about failed leadership as enemy strength. The lesson: even the best armies can be undone from the top. Innovation and courage are vital, but so is wisdom. Without it, victory turns to defeat. The German war machine seemed unstoppable, until it wasn't. Early advantages faded as the war dragged on. Blitzkrieg lost its edge against determined, well-prepared enemies. Germany faced a brutal war of attrition on multiple fronts. The Soviet Union's vast resources and the entry of the United States tipped the balance. German supply lines stretched thin, and winter took its toll. The Red Army adapted, and Allied bombing crippled German industry. Hitler's erratic leadership made things worse. No retreats, no flexibility. Irreplaceable losses mounted, and the military machine broke down. The myth of invincibility shattered under relentless pressure. Early brilliance faded into desperate defense. The cracks grew wider, and defeat became inevitable. Germany's strengths became weaknesses as the world adapted. The lesson: no advantage lasts forever. In war, adaptability and resources win in the end. The unstoppable tide was finally turned. The story of Germany's early victories is a warning from history. Determination, innovation, and training can build a powerful force. But aggression and hateful ideology lead only to ruin. Technological superiority is fleeting. Enemies adapt and overcome. The Allies learned, innovated, and combined their strength to defeat Germany. No single advantage guarantees victory forever. Sound leadership and adaptability are essential. Overreach and arrogance are fatal flaws. The human cost of war is the greatest lesson of all. Early victories brought unimaginable suffering to millions. Understanding this history helps us strive for a better future. The past echoes with warnings. If we choose to listen, let us remember and never repeat these mistakes.